Welcome to the wonderful world of Kiddie Kingdom. Today we'll be having a look at the secretive employee tunnels, once used to traverse different parks, keep everything out of the eyes of the public for all employees, and basically anything that required utility. There are several entrances to the ones in Kiddie Kingdom. The easiest entrance is this one right here. You actually see it when you enter the main gate. You'll see it over to the right, just through the fence. Now, in order to access it, you have to head on over to Blast Off, and from there, just head south, and you can get straight into it. I'll even show you on the map, because sometimes finding these can be the hardest part. So, there you are on the map, right there. Alright, I'll show you the other three entrances at the end of the video. Let's get right into them. Now, the reason this is my favourite entrance is because you can kind of do a clean sweep from the bottom to the top of this particular area. Now, as you can see, the service tunnels have been blown up and rubble has caved in. We can find out why exactly that happened later on. Now, there are some ghouls running about here. I normally encounter a legendary at this end, so it could be a tough battle if you get a bad draw on that one. But it's nothing you shouldn't be able to handle. If not, just run. Remember, you have two legs, and the ghouls don't really know how to use theirs that much. Another entrance calls in from that side there. You can get yourself some chems, even food. They had quite the operation down here, known as the refugees. This was Oswald's group, and they had quite a living down here, protected from the majority of the radiation storms. They were able to traverse back and forth around Kiddie Kingdom. Blocking off entrance to the other parks was a smart idea. They didn't know whether uninvited guests would show up from those entrances, so it makes sense. Now, this is another end of a tunnel. You can find some concrete and a wee canister here where they would have needed some amount of explosives to detonate this place, but it seems they had just that. Right, moving into the barracks here, there is an expert lock trunk that you can take advantage of, as well as all the foot lockers. Now, there's no residents here anymore, so you should be pretty safe to just sit and read through the user logs of Dean Morris. It actually happened. The enemy finally dropped the bombs on us. Thank God we had the plan, and everyone stuck to it. If you're wondering what the plan was, Oswald and Rachel devised a drunken plan that if there was a nuclear war, they were going to fortify Kiddie Kingdom, and everyone was on board for this. You can find it in Rachel's terminal in King Cola's castle. Be sure to check that episode out if you want to learn more. Now, we couldn't talk sense into all the park visitors, but we were able to grab a few out of the stampede and take refuge in the employee tunnels, which we are now. Oswald and Rachel did a pretty good job stocking up down here. We've got preserved food, seeds, water from the pump systems, tools, extra lumber, just about everything really, except for weapons. That was Mitchel's job, and we don't know if he survived. We gotta keep calm about this and ride it out. That crazy bastard. It's been about a week since the bombs fell, and we'd all written Mitchel off for dead. Next thing, he comes rolling up in a semi, half full of guns, explosives, food, medicine, chemicals, you name it. Said he'd been busy gathering the rest of what we need to fortify Kiddie Kingdom. Well, he had some blood in his shirt, but when Oswald started to ask him about it, we all told him to just leave it alone. I mean, Mitchel's a crazy bastard, but right now I'd rather him on our side. So obviously he must have got all those supplies through, let's just say, he had the guns, so everyone was giving up everything else. I certainly wouldn't want to go up against him. We blew up the service tunnel passages connecting to the other areas of the park. If things don't calm down in another few weeks, we'll head outside and barricade the gates. Radiation storms. The fighting outside had died down for a bit, and we had barricaded the gates to Kiddie Kingdom. While we were finishing up, a weird storm started to blow in over the horizon to the east. We barely had time to finish up when it hit, and it hit hard. I've seen all sorts of storms, but this one was different, almost like a tornado with green lightning arcing through the sky. We all ended up taking shelter where we could, but a few people just got sucked into the vortex and were just gone. These were the early and very nasty rad storms. We were trapped for hours while the crazy storm passed over. It must have picked up the fallout from Boston because everyone had been sick for weeks now and quite a few had died. Those of us who are changing, the preparedness videos never said anything about this. Some sort of affliction. We've been alive here for over 100 years now. The change has affected all of us. It seems as though our bodies have adapted to the radiation. Our features have become twisted and distorted, but we no longer felt ill. Unfortunately, it seems like this change has affected some worse than others. First it was Mitchel, now Herman. They aren't speaking anymore and they just seem to shuffle around growling. If we try to hold them back, they get violent. We've tried everything we can think of. Talking to them, medication, every possible remedy for a cold or illness. But, whatever this affliction is, we can't seem to beat it. Rachel's convinced that it has to be an illness of some sort. The rest of us just call it the affliction. I pray we find a solution before it takes us all. Alright, well, now you've got a bit of an idea as to how things were going for these ones. There is also another entrance. There's 4 in total. A third one goes that way. Or technically 3, if you don't include the one that goes to the world of refreshment, which we're about to see. You can find a little canteen area where they would have entertained one another. And then we've got this. It's a unique bit of dialogue, so we'll have a listen.
Oh, Nuka fires people for breaking character. Yes, of course, I'm kidding. But seriously, the clown makeup helps scare the invaders off. And there's a new one in the park. No, I don't think that's going to work this time. There's something different about this one. See? I can do that too. Now, stop squirming. Sorry. I know you can't help it. We just have to hold out till she gets back with a cure. Then we'll drive the raiders out and get the farm back in order. We'll fix this. I promise. There. Back in character. I need to prepare some more surprises for our visitor. So I'll leave you to find your way out.
Now, if you were to run and open the door, Oswald will just immediately exit. Oh no, there is a 4th entrance. Silly me. There's 5 then. Yeah, there's 4 scattered around the park. As I said, we'll have a look at each and every one of them, just in case you wanted to know where they all exit out. One of them is quite obscure, and it would be very difficult to know it was there. Jump across and boom, we're into this room. This ghoul won't be friendly. It's hard to tell who this is. I wish they gave some of the ghouls the names of the characters that we read up about. We've also got the tunnel key. Some of the entrances are an expert lock, or an advanced lock, or a novice lock, so you can take your pick on which one you choose. The one I went in, I don't even believe needs open, so again, another selling point. User F. Fowler for the mist sprayers. Now you can turn them off. I'll show you exactly what happens if you do try and turn them off, because then Oswald will basically give you a bit of dialogue when you exit. Now, there's user logs for Fran. Now, Fran was Rachel's friend since elementary school, and she turned feral at a certain point. So, let's have a look here. It's been a few weeks since the bombs fell, and we've been attacked for the first time. It wasn't even a big group, and they weren't as well armed as we were. During the night, or during the fight, I froze up when some grocery clerk charged Evan from behind. He was knocked to the ground and was about to have his head bashed in with one of those gumdrop decorations when Mitchel blew the clerk's brains out. Now Evan is pissed at me for not watching his back. The damn world has ended and I have to deal with a pissed off boyfriend. Why is this happening? It's been a few months since the radiation storm started. 23 people have died so far and I'm starting to wish I was one of them. My skin looks like a prune, at least in the places where it hasn't fallen off. Ooh. A couple of the others seem to have stopped changing, but they look terrible. Half of my hair has fallen out, another clump fell out while I was typing this. Evan's hair is entirely gone, and I can barely stand to look at him. We had a huge fight about it, and now he's moving his stuff out of here, and up to the clock tower. I felt like a monster chasing him off, but maybe it's true. Maybe I am a monster. Maybe we all are. Contamination in the water. Some sort of alarm woke us up in the middle of the night. It looks like the water intake pipes are contaminated. I mean, the water is practically glowing. The alarm must have been some sort of automated fail-safe to protect the park. We'd all heard the rumours about Nuka-World having some sort of reactor in the bottling plant. God only knows what they put in that quantum stuff. The heck with it. It's been over a year now. If the radiation from the storms hasn't killed me, what's a little bit more? I'm going back to bed. Found a use for the sprayers. We were attacked by a huge mob today. They almost made it to the castle this time. As we were trying to drive them back, I had an idea. We maybe are immune to radiation now. But these people aren't. I ran into the tunnels and turned on the park's water sprayers. In minutes, the attack was over. Man, we should have been doing this for years. When Evan heard it and figured out it was me, he kissed me until I couldn't see straight. I don't know if that means things are totally good between us again, but hell, I'll take it. The affliction is getting worse. It's sweeping through our people, and it took Herman last month. He knew it was coming, we all did. Until Rachel can figure out a way of fixing it, I'm afraid we're all going to end up like that. We've survived radiation storms, starvation, attacks, and God knows what else for 100 years now. But how can we fight this? It's not fair. I don't know if I'm just angry or it's a sign I've got the affliction. God help us all. Now, a little backstory. Fran actually does succumb to the affliction later on, and she gets boarded up by, I believe, Oswald and one of the other survivors. And Rachel, because it was her best friend, couldn't take the sight of her, her friend getting basically put into a house. There's a military-grade circuit board, and there is an extra part to this, but you won't be able to access it unless you go through the World of Refreshment. Whilst I'm just going to clip through it, just so I can show you what's around the corner. Now, if I jump back down, you can get yourself 2 Nuka-Cola Quantums, as well as another terminal. And all it really does here is open... It opens another remote-controlled door, which lets you into the tunnel. So... if you're doing the World of Refreshment, I suppose it's one way you may encounter Oswald before time. So, yeah. If you keep going, it takes you into the belly of the World of Refreshment. Don't worry, we'll visit that later on. I should mention the skeleton you've seen back in that tunnel there is actually Kevin Bennell's, one of the Beveragier scientists. Okay, so let's look at the entrance from this side now.
Oh no! You shut off my defenses! Oh, wait. I'll just turn these back on.
Yep, so the sprayers you can only turn off when you actually get to Oswald at the end of the castle. This entrance is located in the track here. Obviously the difficult part is sometimes they come as a pair, and you'll have to make a quick dash into it. To find it, just go to the bridge of King Cola's castle, walk around the track, and it's very hard to miss it. These are... That's the one if you just want to get straight to Oswald. It's probably the fastest, I would wager. Ooh. As for the other entrance now, let's go back in. Back to Blast Off, you'll see a little employees only zone, and whoa, that was close, and a grenade. So yeah, the other one is at the other side of Blast Off, the one I normally use. Whilst this one will take you also into the employee tunnels. Now, let's go to the fourth entrance at this rate. And I guess it would be easier to just walk over to it. So we're in the centre of Kiddie Kingdom, and you're starting to walk on over towards the funhouse. Now, a shortcut would be to just jump down onto the track once again. Dodge one of them. Run by, and when you see the big giant ice cream, all the wee candy canes, and a Nuka bottle, you've got the right place. Boom, another entrance into the tunnels. And that concludes the employee tunnels. Again, a refuge in a dire time. It worked out well until they were dealing with the fact that they were becoming ghouls, and then after that, ferals, which they called the affliction. Alright, let's move on to another section of Kiddie Kingdom. Thank you for watching.